Folks, let's talk about our neighbors to the north, Canada. The land of maple syrup, politeness, and hockey players who apologize for scoring. For generations, the US-Canada border was more a handshake than a line. Canadians flocked south for our beaches, malls, and yes, our oversized portions. They were the flannel-clad lifeblood of countless American towns, the friendly faces we counted on every summer and winter. But as of August 7, 2025, that friendship has hit a wall. A big, invisible wall of hostility. The steady stream of Ontario license plates has slowed to a trickle. The sound of A has been replaced by the silence of empty hotel rooms and vacant shops. This isn't just a dip in tourism, it's a full-blown Canadian ghosting. What happened? It wasn't one thing. It was a slow avalanche of political frostbite. Rhetoric turned our neighbors into bargaining chips. Policies made crossing the border feel like an interrogation. The welcome mat was yanked away, replaced with bureaucratic hurdles and suspicion. The message was clear. You're no longer as welcome as your money once was. And the Canadians, in their famously polite way, simply said, "Okay then," and turned their cars around. This isn't just about hurt feelings, it's a self-inflicted economic wound. We're talking billions of dollars, tens of thousands of jobs, and the very fabric of communities that depended on this cross-border friendship. We took the world's longest undefended border and built an invisible fence. Now, American businesses are left wondering where all their customers went. They went home, to spend their money where they feel valued, and that's left a gaping hole in the American tourism economy. How did we get here? It started at the top, with a steady drumbeat of ultimatums from the White House. The Trump administration's approach to Canada has been, to put it mildly, erratic. Smiles one minute, threats the next. For many Canadians, it felt personal. The friendly neighbor suddenly started demanding payment for a new fence. This political chill seeped down to the border. Entering the US became a source of anxiety. Travelers faced long waits, invasive questions, and a general atmosphere of intimidation. Canadian officials even warned their citizens about increased scrutiny. Then came the fees, a $250 visa integrity charge. For a family of 4, that's a $1,000 barrier before they've even bought a lobster roll. The message casual, frequent travel was no longer encouraged. The result? A grassroots economic boycott. Canadians voted with their wallets. A May 2025 survey. 75% of Canadians with US travel plans said tariffs influenced their decision, and 56% chose to go elsewhere. If their presence wasn't valued, their money wouldn't be either. They chose to support their own local businesses, and who can blame them? If you thought the stories were bad, wait until you see the numbers. In June 2025, car travel from Canada plummeted by 33% compared to last year. May was down 38%. Air travel fell 22% in June, 6 straight months of double-digit declines. The U.S. Travel Association warns, for every 10% drop in Canadian tourism, the U.S. loses $2.1 billion and 14,000 jobs. Now do the math on a 33% decline, we're hemorrhaging money and jobs. In 2024, Canadians spent $20.5 billion in the U.S., over a quarter of all foreign tourist spending. We've turned off a spigot that was pumping billions into our economy. Major travel agencies report bookings from Canada to the US have collapsed by as much as 90%. Airlines like Air Canada and WestJet have slashed flights and cut routes to American cities. Every canceled flight means lost revenue for US airports and layoffs for workers on both sides of the border. A recent survey, 59% of Canadians are less likely to travel to the US this year. Over a third have already canceled plans. This isn't a vague feeling, it's a deliberate choice by millions. The political rhetoric and border policies weren't just background noise, they directly caused this crisis. The numbers prove it. We've alienated our most reliable tourism market. The consequences are now being tallied in empty cash registers across the nation. Nowhere has this crisis felt more than in American border towns. For places like Plattsburgh, New York, or Bellingham, Washington, Canadian shoppers and tourists are the foundation. Right now, these towns are in crisis mode. In New York's North Country, 2/3 of businesses report massive declines in bookings and sales. Duty-free shops face an existential threat. Some report sales down nearly 50% and are contemplating closing for good. In Vermont, the Kingdom Trails mountain biking network saw Canadian membership drop by 50%. J-Peak Resorts Canadian season pass renewals fell by 35%. Montana's tourism office has given up marketing to Canadians for now. Canadian credit card spending in the state fell 56% in March, 44% in April. Hotel bookings by Canadians dropped 73% over the winter and spring. One tour operator lost $38,000 in a single blow when a Canadian group canceled. These are the real-world consequences of diplomatic failure. Small American businesses are paying the price. The chill has reached the Sunshine State. For decades, Florida was the promised land for Canadian snowbirds, retirees and vacationers escaping winter. Canadians made up 40% of all international tourism in Florida, injecting over $500 million annually. Now, a deep unease has settled over Florida's tourism sector. Empty condos and half-full restaurants tell the story. Hotel owners who once counted on being fully booked are now staring at alarming vacancy rates. Even Canadian property owners are reconsidering their plans, some selling, others leaving homes empty. The combination of feeling unwelcome and new border hurdles has broken a tradition that spanned generations. The ripple effect is huge. When a Canadian family cancels, it's not just the hotel that loses out, it's the rental car agency, the theme park, the diner, the souvenir shop. The disappearance of such a significant customer base threatens thousands of Floridian livelihoods. The sun may still shine, but a dark economic cloud has gathered over the state, and it's coming straight from Washington. Florida is learning you can't take loyalty for granted. With this five-alarm fire raging, you'd expect a swift response from the federal government, right? Instead, we've gotten the great federal shrug, a profound indifference to the economic carnage. The White House treats the collapse of Canadian tourism as an acceptable casualty in a broader agenda. No outreach, no support, no acknowledgement of the pain in communities from coast to coast. The message from Washington: you're on your own. The federal government has abandoned its own border communities, leaving them to navigate a crisis of its own making. While Washington stays silent, local leaders are scrambling. Cities and states are launching "You're always welcome here" campaigns, a plea to our northern neighbors. In Vermont, some businesses offer at-par pricing, accepting the Canadian dollar as equal to the US dollar. Burlington even renamed its main street Canada Street for a day. These aren't just marketing gimmicks, they're genuine attempts to rebuild connections. But a friendly slogan can only do so much if travelers fear the border. Local communities are spending their limited resources to counteract federal policies. The mayor of Plattsburgh can put up all the "We Love Canadians" banners he wants, but he can't change the visa fees. While the federal government builds walls, local communities are desperately trying to tear them down. If millions of Canadians aren't coming to the US, where are they going? The big winners, Mexico and the Caribbean. Bookings to Cancun, Punta Cana, and Bermuda are booming. Resorts that once competed with Florida are now enjoying record-breaking seasons filled with Canadians. Every Canadian family that discovers Bermuda or Tulum is a family that may not come back to the US, even if things improve. They're forming new habits, new traditions, finding they can have a fantastic vacation without the stress of a US trip. We're not just losing customers for a season, we're losing them for a generation. Many Canadians are also exploring their own country, sparking a domestic tourism boom. Provinces are launching See Canada First campaigns, encouraging citizens to spend vacation dollars at home. This patriotic spending is a double whammy. We lose their dollars, and those dollars now strengthen the Canadian economy. The flow of traffic was reliably south. Now it's scattering in every direction. We told our best friends we didn't want them at our party, so they threw their own. As we survey the wreckage, the question is, can this be fixed? The economic damage is clear: shops closing, jobs lost, communities teetering. But the deeper damage, the erosion of trust and goodwill, is harder to repair. The optimistic view: this is all tied to the current administration. Many Canadians say they'll return when the leadership changes. A new administration could reverse hostile policies and launch a major diplomatic effort. But trust, once broken, is not easily restored. The memory of feeling unwelcome will linger. The pessimistic view: this shift in travel habits may become permanent. Families forced to find alternatives may discover they prefer them. We've trained our best customers to look elsewhere, and they may like what they see. Rebuilding this relationship will require more than a new president or marketing campaign. It'll require humility, a genuine effort to show Canadians they're valued partners and friends. The world's friendliest border became a symbol of division. Mending it will take more than unlocking the gate. It'll take a national apology and a promise to never take that friendship for granted.